northwest Arkansas into the mountains, and specifically into the River Valley, but mainly east of Ozark, Clarksville, Johnson County, and even Logan County. We're getting a very heavy rain, hail threats coming in, and as these storms continue to hit the same locations over and over again, we continue that flash flooding threat. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Right now, you're looking at all the rain coming in, but then that pink color shows you the severe thunderstorm watch that for northwest Arkansas goes until 4, and the eastern River Valley goes until 6. Most of the storms are along and east of US 71. For us west of I-49, we've had a couple little cells here and there. We'll continue to watch. In fact, what we have to watch are for these outflow boundaries. We have team coverage, meteorologist Bruce Thomas. He's with me as well. We're watching a little outflow come in from the storms that are hitting us hard in eastern Washington County, where we have that severe thunderstorm warning. But boy, it is raining hard, and we continue to have hail. I'm going to bring up some of those hail threats too, Bruce.
That sounds good. You know, I'm watching some of the warnings for flash flooding coming out from the Weather Service right now. These are the hail cores, and we're tracking those. We've seen up to about 2.5-inch diameter hail in some of the strongest cores. When they get up into the lavender colors there, you'll start to see the purples, and that's where the bigger hailstones are falling this afternoon. And we do have one core still working its way through. It looks like Washington County moving to the southeast, and that's one of concern. But the heavy rainfall we've been watching is now becoming more of a concern. I saw in Newton County, Marble Falls, they're actually reporting water going over, overflowing the Highway 7 bridge at Dogpatch as of 1:45. Water from Mill Creek was flowing over the highway there, and so it's becoming serious, especially when you get into the higher elevations to our east. Flash flooding, and that does claim more lives generally than any other weather phenomena, believe it or not. Flash flooding is one of those really dangerous ones. Flash flooding and lightning claim more lives average every year than tornadoes do. But we are watching, again, very heavy concern for rain, flash flooding going on to our east. Another flash flood warning now has been issued, again, for Madison County and also for northeastern Washington County, and that's till 4:30 this afternoon, and that's for this heavy rain we're seeing, again, from Goshen southward, Japton, and then on down. A very heavy rainfall going on there and extending over to the south. Radar indicates that flash flooding is ongoing, and they're saying small creeks and streams definitely concerned. And Huntsville, Paul, Hinesville, Wesley, Kingston, and on down, the Winthrop Springs State Park would be of concern. Again, Pettigrew, Japton, Witter, Marble, Goshen, Georgetown, Red Star, many of the cities and towns that are in this area where the flooding is starting to occur. So if you're out in those areas, I have friends that might be camping or out there having a big time on a Sunday afternoon, they need to be careful, especially at low water crossings. And remember that saying we like to say, turn around and don't drown. It is important because we don't want anybody to have that kind of outcome this afternoon. Now the interstate's looking pretty good. Most of the rain has moved just to the east of the interstate system, at least of I-49, and the heavy rain moving down towards I-40. Now if you're heading towards Little Rock, you'll eventually get into this in the River Valley this afternoon, and you can see Clarksville under a severe thunderstorm warning. Big storms continuing to progress towards the southeast at about 25 miles an hour. You can see Little Rock, Conway, and then as you come on out towards Russellville, you'll see that the storms are really prolific. Big flash flood warnings all the way up the line. Flash flooding happening, ongoing from, again, just east of Clarksville all the way back up to now here in Washington County and also into Madison County. And that watch, or the actual flash flood warning, is in effect until 4:30 this afternoon. Now we are under a severe thunderstorm watch again until 6 p.m. tonight, as these storms are training and they're going over the same terrain over and over and over. And that becomes a real concern, Matt, as we have ongoing storms to upstream up into Kansas that are heading this way.
That's right. And so I can pull back the radar again. That's what Bruce is talking about. All the way just north of Independence and Coffeyville, they're getting some of those storms that continue to just head right towards us. But let's go ahead and zoom back in. Let's get some timings, because Bruce, you were just talking about the latest time or the speed of these storms are coming in about 25 miles per hour. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the radar. Let's go ahead and time some things out. Clarksville, let's talk Johnson County first. Clarksville, the heavy rain's coming in right at us. We've got hail just towards the north, reporting there towards the Strawberry Bluffs. In fact, the newest scan has increased some of this hail. We've got, I got to take off the warning real quick in order to click through, okay. We've got hail sizes just estimating there about golf ball sized hail coming there. This is towards Hillcrest, Woodland, Ludwig, and this is all headed south and east. You guys in Clarksville, I know the rain's starting to come down for you guys, but this hail core is also coming in towards the south and east. Let's time this out. Again, this is moving about 25 miles per hour towards the south and east, and that's going to hit 64 and just travel right down 64. Headed into Clarksville about 217, here about 6 minutes. Hail coming in for you guys. You may already start getting some pea-sized hail at any moment, but the larger hail is about 6 minutes away. Lamar 224, Knoxville 233. That's another about 20 minutes for us in Knoxville. Just once again, headed down 64 right along the Arkansas River. That looks to be, I believe, our biggest hail threat right now. Johnson County, there in the Strawberry Bluffs, headed south and east. Spadra, we could try to get New Spadra as well as you cross the river there north of Scranton towards Morrison Bluff. We could try to get some hail as well. Now, there are other hail pockets too. They're a little bit smaller, but we could get up to about quarter-sized hail in eastern Washington County. Look, you guys see in Elkins right now, headed towards Durham. This is just east of Sulphur Springs there, just east of the White River. These hail pockets are crossing into Madison County, also about 25 miles per hour towards the south and east. There's a little bit larger of a hail core there, south and east of Brentwood. I'll estimate the sizes on these. They're kind of that light blue color, right there about quarter-sized hail, about 1 inch sized hail. And this storm is moving south and east, deep into waterfall country there towards Bidville. This is just on the outskirts of Winslow, off of 71 as you head east towards White Rock Mountain. There towards White Rock is where we have this hail core coming in as well. If we go back, zoom out a little bit too, we've been watching some of the hail cores back towards our north and west there in Kansas. It looks like the latest storm has dropped off a little bit. But check this out. Before we show more of the flooding rain, I'm going to show you some of the hail tracks that we've had. This is just over the past, I believe, hour where we've had some of the largest hail. You see the bullseyes there. We've had some hail there on the east side of Fayetteville, right over Goshen and Elkins. Wyman, we've had that hail. We've had the hail in Madison County, there from Japton, Drakes Creek, and Thorny. And then we've also had some hail there on the southeast side of Rogers as you're headed towards Montanay, there towards Hickory Creek on the southwestern shores of Beaver Lake. Grimes Elementary, then south towards Lowell and Bethel Heights, we've had some of that hail too. We also had some hail come in right towards Arvest Ballpark, where of course they're trying to play a game today, but we got some rain there here just a while back ago, and then hail has fallen already on Highway 412. But if we zoom out, we'll show you the whole area. We haven't had much go on in Fort Smith, Van Buren. Things have been quiet. We have a severe thunderstorm watch for Crawford County, but we don't have one for Sebastian County at this time. But what we have to continue to watch for will be those clouds. I'm going to pull you visible satellite up. I'm going to pull up the high resolution stuff for us. And what we're tracking is to see if we can find, let me pull up, I got to switch. We're trying to look for these cumulus clouds that may bubble up eventually. If you notice back towards the south or the west, we're getting some outflow boundaries now pushing through. These could try to support, you see those green lines? Those could try to spark some more storms eventually. We've got some outflow coming in right over the Boppy Opera Tunnel. They're headed south towards Chester. Right along that little green line that's moving, we could also try to fire up more cells. So here in Fort Smith and Poto and Greenwood and Mansfield, Midland, Sallisaw, we're clear now. We've got some clouds left over from some of the storms back off towards the north and west, but eventually we may also get some storms. But for now, the strongest thunderstorms are east of US 71. They're starting to exit Washington County. They're very close to Sunset in Washington County right now, Durham and Elkins. They're about to wrap up, though, for us in the metros and northwest. We still have a good cell right over Beaver Lake, right over War Eagle. That's headed south and east towards Madison County, coming in towards Hinesville and Huntsville here in the next 15 minutes or so. But the other threat, of course, is that flash flooding. We're still getting, rainfall rates between 1 and 2 inches per hour. Of course, you mix in a little bit of hail with that, too. But heavy rain continues to be a big issue because notice how they keep hitting the same locations over and over again. I'll be honest, kind of concerned about Johnson County specifically because we're getting very heavy rain over Clarksville and coming into Lamar and Knoxville as well. But then more rain coming in from Madison County, also with rainfall rates 1 to 2 inches per hour, are coming in as well. Some of us have already picked up 1 to 2 inches already today, and those rainfall totals will continue to go up. Bruce, I'm going to take a look at some of these cameras just to kind of see what's going on. This is a live look at Greenland looking north.
Yeah, the National Weather Service out of Tulsa, Stephen Piltz, one of the top forecasters over in Tulsa, put out a little statement here at a little after 2 o'clock that he sees some convergence occurring over in their area and expecting maybe a little bit of a storm to erupt over in the Oklahoma side. Again, over this line right here, he sees this convergence showing up on radar, and the cap is weak, which means as the cap breaks, the clouds start to go up vertically, and you get a vertically developing cumulus clouds that eventually become rain showers and thunderstorms and severe weather producers. So they're watching that closely, because this little fine line we show as an outflow boundary, that is biological matter. That's crickets, that's bugs, that's all kinds of flies, birds. The radar actually can see those exoskeletons of those insects as the wind projects out of these storms, and as they start rolling along in the air, they reflect onto the radar beam, and we get these outflow boundaries. It's just a little something interesting, and that's what we're seeing right now. So as that little line of biological matter, which again is mostly insects, moves to the southwest, I think we may see some more development here on the west side of 49 north of Fort Smith, may even cross over into Oklahoma around, it's just over there in Sequoia County. And we'll be watching that little line, because I think that's going to be our next blow up here. And they're watching it closely at the Weather Service office over in Tulsa. They're the official Weather Service office for most of northwest Arkansas and down towards Fort Smith. And then we use the Weather Service out of Little Rock to get our warnings for our eastern counties. And they're monitoring all the flash flooding and heavy weather that's moving again towards Little Rock this afternoon and down across I-40. So a lot of activity going on, and the heavy rainfall is a big concern now. And storms still going on just out to the east of Fayetteville and south. Again, all at this time, everything is east of Interstate 49. But I just watching that right there. This is watch right there. You see that? That's what we look for redevelopment. Now, I want to show the temperatures again. I want to show the temperature contrast going on across our viewing area this afternoon. Rain-cooled air, mid-60s, Bentonville, out to Rogers, 64, Taneytown at 70, but you still see the southerly winds streaming in. Look at Fort Smith, 86, Sallisaw, 88, Poteau, 88. So we've got all this warm, humid air still flowing north, which is like a gasoline. It's like gasoline for thunderstorms. It's like this is the fuel right here going into that big complex of storms that's moving towards Clarksville. So we're still feeding those storms warm, moist air, so they're not going to turn off. And it's peak heating in the afternoon. We're at peak heating right now. It's only, well, it's 2:20 in the afternoon. So we got plenty of solar energy driving this, and we got southerly winds with warm, humid air coming up from the south. I don't see this ending anytime soon, especially what's going on over here to our east. And then we're seeing possibility of these storms rolling right down the line later this afternoon, and this development right here just north of Fort Smith, and it may develop on over into extreme northeastern Oklahoma. So they may get a little action too. But right now, the heaviest concern for us, and our main concern, is the flash flooding, the hail, the frequent lightning, and again, some winds up to 60 to 75 miles an hour are possible with any of the severe thunderstorms this afternoon. Look at that. We finally got another warning to our north. Now they're starting to issue warnings over in Kansas again. These storms coming up north of Independence. This is the Kansas Turnpike. And then you see these storms rolling down again towards Joplin, Joplin being right here. So they're seeing some showers and storms. And again, that moisture feeding in, and just seeing if that little area right there may develop into a set of storms that may eventually impact Fort Smith here within an hour or so. Severe thunderstorm warning again continues for Washington County, and that storm again moving toward the southeast. We're pretty clear right now up in Bentonville and Rogers, just cool, only in the 60s after it was mid 80s there earlier before the rain started. And let's give a bigger picture of that. Now, these little outflows keep moving to the southwest, and you see a lot of activity going on, especially in our eastern counties. And again, the main concern, flash flooding, frequent lightning, heavy rain, and some strong winds. And then the hail. We've seen reports now. I've been monitoring the National Weather Service, and again, here's another report out of the Tulsa Weather Service. Satellite and radar suggest some of the strongest low-level forcing is on the boundary near the Creek and Payne County line. So they're starting to see some forcing over there in northeast parts of Oklahoma that may develop into some more storms that may progress, and then eventually these will affect Fort Smith and our counties over in the Green Country later this afternoon and this evening. So may not get out of the woods on getting storms all through our area. Again, they're watching this right here. There's Tahlequah, and they're watching that to explode maybe into you can see that boundary kind of narrowing in. There's what they call confluence, the air coming from two different directions. When air collides together, it has to go up because it can't go into the ground. So you're getting rising air, and once the air starts rising, it'll break through any kind of inversion or cap that maybe, which is like a warmer layer aloft. And once it breaks through, that everything just goes up, and then you get a line of thunderstorms developing. And that may be our next play over on our Oklahoma side for this afternoon and this evening. But right now, just to the east of Interstate 49, moving into the higher terrain, Boston Mountains, and then on down all the way to Little Rock. It is a very busy afternoon. Matt, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm reading some comments coming in from viewers right now. In Clarksville specifically, they're getting hit hard. In Lamar and Knoxville, lots of heavy rain. It is loud. It is windy. We're watching wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. We have a flash flood warning for us there in Johnson County as well, and then into Pope and parts of Logan County too. But the rain continues to fall. But reading some of these comments, especially in Clarksville, you guys are getting some of that hail. You've had some of that hail for a while. I'm getting reports that it's very loud. It's horrible out there for you guys in eastern Johnson County. But I'm also getting a lot of questions for the rest of the River Valley, right? So if we kind of have a couple different zones, northwest Arkansas, we're pushing some of this stuff out. Madison County, we're not done yet. But for the metros in northwest, from Bentonville and Bella Vista south into Rogers, Springdale, and Fayetteville, we're starting to get a break. You know, every once in a while on the back edge, we start to get more of these cells popping up. You see the one that's right over the south end of Beaver Lake. That's towards Hickory Creek and Montagnais. We kind of have some redevelopment there, but they're quickly pushing into Madison County where we have that flash flood warning. But in Fayetteville and Springdale, we're looking a lot better. But what about Fort Smith, Van Buren, right? You've been looking towards the north and east all day. You see all those storms, but eventually we'll have our chance as well. Like the National Weather Service is talking about, just like Bruce has been talking about, there towards our west, where you start to see these green lines, if we can get some storms to fire up towards our north and west in northeast Oklahoma, which we're expecting probably will happen in the next hour or so, if they do pop up, we've got this northwest wind. So guess where they directly go? They directly head towards Fort Smith. They head towards Poteau. They head towards Greenwood. And so we've got to be on the lookout for that throughout the afternoon. The complex that we have right at this moment is not the only cluster of storms that we're going to have today. And if you look back towards the north and west, we're still watching those storms come in towards Independence eventually and Coffeyville there in southeast Kansas. But it's this whole trajectory. We've got this northwest flow that carries these storms and all this energy right from the Central Plains right here into the western and southwestern Ozarks, where we have a lot of the heavy rain and flash flooding. But some of these flood watches or flash flood warnings continue for the next couple of hours. It's going to take me a second to do, but hold tight. I'm going to bring up an estimation of how much rain we've gotten so far. So we got to take a couple things off the radar. Let me take the lightning off. But what we're going to look at is that observed precipitation so far that we've had today. And this is just estimated by the radar, and sometimes it gets a little bit polluted with some of the hailstones that we've had. But you can see where we've had the most rain today so far. Johnson County, there in Springdale, or there towards Clarksville, we've had so much heavy rain today, but it gets even heavier when you talk about the total amount that we've had so far when you head north and east of town. There off of Hillcrest and Ludwig, Holman, Lutherville, there on Highway 123, 123, we've been getting that heavy rain throughout the day, but then there's that good pocket just east of the Strawberry Bluffs, there east of Batson, Garber, Treat, Dillon, Rosetta. We've had that heavy rain for us. A lot of that's kind of hitting portions of the Mulberry River. Madison County, We've already picked up quite a bit of rain too. Let me get you some estimates. And these are rough. Best estimate is always coming from a rain gauge. So let me know if you've had some of that rain pick up for you guys, and maybe wait till after the storm though, because it's loud. We're soaked out there, but we've already probably picked up 2 to 3 inches in Madison County. And then let's get some of these estimations coming in for Johnson County. We're a little bit over 3 inches, 3 to 4 inches for some of us in the northeastern portion of Johnson County. Northwest Arkansas, we've had those clusters of storms push in. We had them in Bentonville earlier. We had a little bit of hail fall in Bentonville. We've picked up about an inch or so. Once you head closer to Beaver Lake, we're probably closer to about 1.5 to 2 inches, just roughly estimating. And then in Washington County, they're just west of Arvest Ballpark, Lake Weddington, and Tawnytown. We picked up a little bit over an inch of water too. And then in Fayetteville itself, we've had some rain there at at Razorback Stadium. We've had some at Baum Walker, but it picks up a little bit more as you head eastbound. So I'm going to go ahead and back to the radar. We were just looking at the observed precipitation, but heavy rain continues to just slam us right now in the Eastern River Valley from about Ozark pushing east. Also getting more information from the National Weather Service. Still a lot of convergence there to try to produce and pop more storms there in northeast Oklahoma. If that happens, we're going to continue to have a lot of coverage today because we have these storms that have already formed in southeast Kansas. Eventually, they're going to move towards us. But if we can get more storms to pop up in northeast Oklahoma, they'll definitely rock the River Valley. And we're talking not mainly east of Ozark, we're talking finally for Fort Smith and Van Buren and Sallisaw and Poteau. But that would still be a couple hours from now. We're still watching, though, this cooler air, this rain-cooled air press south and east right along this line. I'll draw it out for you guys. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to see. But we have this outflow, this rain-cooled air coming into Mulberry and Mountainburg and coming into Charleston. We can try to pop up more cells along this line. This one's moving south and west. Will it? We'll have to see. But we'll probably see that very quickly if it does start to file up. But right now, I'll do a quick county-by-county look of what's going on right now and what you can expect at least over the next hour. Benton County, we are clearing out. We still have some very heavy rain on the south end of Beaver Lake towards War Eagle, and they're just south of Hickory Creek. But that is pushing on out. Bentonville and towards Heifel, Centerton, Rogers, Pea Ridge, Gravette, Gentry, Siloam Springs. We may be good for a little bit of time now. We still have to wait for those storms back off towards the north and west. I'll time those out here in a few minutes. But in Benton County, we're looking a lot better for maybe another hour or so. Carroll County, we have some light rain reporting. We've already had some big thunderstorms push in. We had a monster storm earlier today that really hit us in Branson and Silver Dollar City, headed south. But right now, we've got probably some scattered light showers in Carroll County for the next 30 to 45 minutes. Madison County, we're not done. We just had a lot of heavy rain push through. We have that flash flood warning that's in effect. But if you look in northern Madison County, more cells are firing up there just north of Hinesville and Huntsville. They're going to be moving into Hinesville and Huntsville in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But Japton, south to Venus, Sunset, Arkansas, Boston, St. Paul, the heavy rain continues. And if you get a break, it only lasts for 20, 30 minutes because we've got that cell back up towards the north. Washington County, extreme northeastern Washington County, we're under that flash flood warning. You guys see there for Goshen, Mayfield, Tuttle, Sunset, Arkansas, they're along Goshen, Tuttle Road and Ball Road, Johnson Road there right along 412 once you head east of Sonora. We've got that flash flood warning. But the rest of Washington County, Fayetteville, Springdale, we may be okay for a few hours from now, but we're still got more storms back towards the north and west, but we're trying to get a break. Let's head south into Crawford County. Crawford County, a lot of big questions, right? We haven't had much yet. Now, in extreme northeastern Crawford County, we've got that severe thunderstorm warning continuing. But towards Bidville, that's east of Artist Point, we've got that heavy rain that continues to move south and east into Franklin County. But we may try to pop up a storm in Crawford County at any time as this cooler air is pushing through. You see that green line there. Cooler air pushing through, that could try to spark a storm. Let's head west a little bit. Sallisaw, we're in the clear for now. We'd probably be in the clear for maybe a few more hours. Now, unless that cooler air coming in from Crawford County moves in and sparks a storm, we could try to fire up something. But right now, we do not have a severe thunderstorm watch for Sequoia County. LaFleur County, we're in the clear for now. We've got clouds, kind of the leftover, the anvils from some of these other thunderstorms back off towards the east, kind of shading us over in portions of Poteau. But it's warm and humid. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s there on the east side of Kavanaugh Hill, Heavener, Tallahena. We continue to be warm and humid, but we may still be good for a few hours. They're in Sebastian County. A lot of questions, right? Because we're watching also rain-cooled air come in from Charleston. We could try to pop up a storm along there, but otherwise we are in the clear for now. We're not in a severe thunderstorm watch. Now, if we get more storms firing up in Tulsa, they'll probably come right at us in Sebastian County. Scott County, we're in the clear now as well. That outflow boundary is still, several miles off towards the north. I think we're good in Scott County for a few more hours. Logan County, it really is kind of divided from east to west. You go from Mount Magazine and Paris and Driggs, and you have east there towards Shoal Creek and Scranton and Subiaco. Heavy rain coming in. We're under that severe thunderstorm warning. I believe that warning goes until, until 3:15, another 45 minutes. So that is a new severe thunderstorm warning as of about 6 minutes ago. But until 3:15, we're under that warning for eastern Logan County. So Parrish, Shoal Creek, Morrison Bluff, Spadra, New Spadra, Subiaco. We've got heavy storms coming in from the north, some hail tracking with these too. Johnson County, we're in the thick of it. We're going to be in the thick of it for a while. Now, it may slow down a little bit in Clarksville for maybe 10, 15 minutes or so before heavier rain comes in from the north, but it is hitting us hard in Coal Hill and Knoxville, Lamar. Sometimes we're getting some of that hail moving in. Franklin County, from Ozark northbound, we have heavy rain coming in from the mountains, so that's going to be coming down the mountainsides, coming into Waterloo. Ozark, we're getting some of that heavy rain there along 64 already. That'll continue on and off for the next couple of hours, to be honest, and then east into Altus, Whitaker Village, there east along 64, we're getting that heavy rain too. Northern Franklin County, there in the Boston Mountains, just west of Batson, heavy rain continues to fall for us, and then Bruce, I'm going to bring up our hail tracker once again. I'll get a wide view. Let's take a look at some of this hail.
I'm watching that outflow boundary going into Crawford, also moving down towards Fort Smith in Crawford County, and eventually over in Sebastian County. We're watching this little outflow boundary that's working its way back from these storms, and we've got that little hail core there that's weakening, and then several of the hail cores now are moving in a south direction, but none of them very impressive with the larger hail that we've seen earlier this afternoon. Again, I think it's becoming more of this big widespread heavy rain event with lots of lightning, heavy rain, and the flash flood warnings have now been extended all the way down across I-40 at Russellville, down to the south towards Perryville. And you see how the storms are all progressing now in a southeasterly direction this afternoon. And again, I-40 between Fort Smith and Little Rock, a pretty dangerous drive. It's always dangerous with all the big trucks on that road, but a lot of storms this afternoon just covering up I-40. Again, as you're heading east towards Little Rock, you're just going to get in storm after storm after storm this afternoon if you're trying to drive from Fort Smith.
There's a live look in Clarksville, Bruce.
Oh,
we're
man,
getting some of that rain there.
Yeah, well, they're still making progress. Everybody's slowing down a little bit, hopefully, and there's wet roads out there, and people having their lights on and taking their time. What we got here look like see that little red area there? May have been an accident or something on the interstate when we're progressing there and showing the actual, right.
Back towards the west.
Right here. What's that?
I don't have a report on it yet, but it definitely is a slow go there.
Boy,
where 40 minutes, 164.
No, it's some kind of a big backup starting there, and that's where that heaviest weather's been going on west of Clarksville. So hopefully no one's hydroplaned too much. The good news is the interstates are always built up high. They don't generally flood, at least not easily, and it's mostly the secondary roads or out into the country roads that have the low water crossings. Here's a new storm coming out up here in Kansas we're watching. I'm still impressed with this outflow boundary too that's heading towards Fort Smith.
It just sparked something west of Paris. See that right there?
See that? Look at that development right there. There it is. Boom. We're talking about that line of bugs blowing in your direction towards Fort Smith, and then look at that new development right there. Boom, just straight up. That's what happens when you get this cool rush of air. It acts like a cold front, actually, and just lifts the warm, humid air quickly. And so we're getting no more development. And again, here's Fort Smith and Van Buren, and this little area is moving your way. It's this line, and it's a little pool of cold air that's rushed out of thunderstorms. It's a little boundary, and it'll become like a micro cold front and just lift the warm, humid air. And then you can see again, there's the latest development we're seeing down to the south from those outflow boundaries. So it does do that. It progresses and helps propagate the storms further west this afternoon, and we'll see again, from maybe Dean Springs to Uniontown. We'll see if that develops over the next few minutes. It's getting impressive. It's crossing now over, crossing over into Oklahoma.
We may be sparking something there. We'll have to see another scan or two.
There it is right there. Yeah, Westville, south down Highway 59. It looks like, yeah, I think it's about to blow up over there. You know, with temperatures in the upper 80s, high humidities, strong southerly winds, you got all the ingredients for a rapid development. Plus, you're under a severe thunderstorm watch till 6 o'clock, so it won't be surprising along Highway 62 there as you progress on off towards the west. You might drive into something.
I'm going to show you a live look in Springdale. You were just talking about that cell in Westville, Bruce. So this is looking towards Westville. I know it's really hard to see, but when you zoom in, right there in the middle, I know it's super hard to see, but you have some more crisp cumulus there where it's starting to bubble up a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that storm looks like it's starting to grow. I know you're kind of looking through several cloud layers here.
Right.
But it does look like it's got some promising signs if it wants to try to blow up a little bit more.
That's right, Matt. You know, we call that hard convection. You know, when it looks like cauliflower, that means that storm is going to have a rapid updraft and a very strong convections. Convective means it's heated from below and it rises vertically. And when we see that, looks like cauliflower in the sky, it's not fuzzy or soft, but it's hard-looking convection. We saw a lot of that yesterday evening looking off to the east. You know those are going up quick, and they'll probably become strong to possibly severe storms. And I just think that we're going to, there it is right there. Look at it. Just
It's starting to
crossing
go
over into Oklahoma, that first little storm developing. And again, when these develop, they're going to move southeastward. So Fort Smith's not out of the woods yet. I mean, it hadn't occurred there yet, and it's getting later in the afternoon, but I figure maybe by about 3:30, 4 o'clock, there'll be some storms that are affecting the Fort Smith area and maybe over into Oklahoma along I-40, but we'll just have to see how this development goes. But you can see it's forming a shower, and there's no reason why that doesn't keep bubbling up pretty quickly. So I think we're going to get a second area, and you can see it already to the west of Paris in this area, now south of I-40, Alma. You see that coming towards Alma. You probably get some development there just north of Alma, and then heading on into Fort Smith. I know all these towns because I've eaten in all these towns when I travel. Alma's got a great catfish restaurant there.
Yes, it's great.
You see, that's what happens. That's how you get a body like this. You know, you can't not stop and eat at these places. And
fantastic.
You got to feed this body.
So delicious.
That's right. Yeah, but, absolutely.
But it looks like you said, a lot of this has become a lot of heavy rain threats, because when we keep looking at these hail tracks, I'm going to take off the previous hail, but Bruce, a lot of these hail cores have weakened as some of these storms just become prolific rain events for us. But flash flood warnings continue. I'm going to fill in the warnings. So I know it's messy, but anywhere you see the green box with dark red filled in, that's a flash flood warning. And then anytime you see a yellow box filled in kind of with the yellowish orange color, that's a severe thunderstorm warning. It's a mess, but from Franklin County, Johnson County, Eastern Logan County, Madison County, and Newton County, we've got a mix of severe thunderstorm warnings and flash flood warnings. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to continue to watch these storms in Clarksville and Paris and Ozark, but it looks like the hail has gone down a little bit. So that's great news. You can still get some pea-sized hail, but the damaging hail threat has weakened at least a touch for now. That may continue to come back up. We'll watch that. But right now, it is a lot of heavy rain coming in east of Fort Smith. But like Bruce has been talking about, that outflow boundary is already starting to spark some storms. We're going to take a second and analyze those for you guys. We'll hop back on throughout this afternoon as these storms may likely to blow up. Fort Smith, Van Buren, we haven't had anything yet, but our chance for storms will continue to go up as this rain-cooled air pushes towards us, and maybe we'll try to spark a storm or two. This is live team coverage. You're watching Channel 5. We appreciate your time. We'll be back. Keep it here, keep it local, and as always, we'll keep you advised.